Hogan, thanks for joining us. I am excited to get your perspective. You've been part of two successful campaigns that have won the Iowa caucuses. So as somebody who looks at it from that perspective of what it's like to be a winner, what did you make of the results last night? What are your takeaways?
I thought it was extremely impressive. What a victory Donald Trump had. You know, Mike Huckabee always used to tell me that there are two ways to run campaigns: unopposed and scared. Now, Donald Trump could never be accused of being scared of anything, but I think they understood that they wanted to act as though they were the ones that were down 10, 20 points. And their turnout game was really big and really impressive. I mean, 1,600 precincts or so there in Iowa. He had more than 2,000 precinct captains, 400 training facilities for caucus captains as well, caucus goers, because I think 3 in 10 of his voters are new voters to the caucus. Yeah. So I thought him able to mobilize that was really impressive. In addition, you took a look at the rest of the field. I mean, DeSantis has been there for a long time, has been around the state, did the full Grassley, which is going to all 99 counties in a year like the good senator from Iowa usually does. And they usually reward that. I mean, Santorum and our campaign, we went to all 99 counties. Huckabee went to all 99, and the voters rewarded him for that. They didn't reward DeSantis here. They appreciated it, and I think a lot of people did turn out, but it just didn't culminate in something that could overtake a former sitting president who is very popular within the GOP base.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I like that they appreciated it. They just didn't reward it. Thank you very much. I enjoyed the meal. I'm just not going to tip you.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that I've tried to break through in a lot of media interviews and discussions that I've had is that there's this fascination with why didn't DeSantis? And the problem is I feel like they're all selling the same thing. They're saying, I'm going to give you Trump without Trump. And people are saying, yeah, but I can get Trump. Like, why? Like, it's literally like going and going to get dessert and them saying like, look, we have this flavor that tastes just like vanilla. And it's creamy. And then someone going, yeah, but can I just get the vanilla? It's right there. And they're saying, yeah, you can get the vanilla, but we've got another flavor that's just like it. And I don't feel like, for all these guys who keep saying how to take on Trump, the problem that they're missing is that people want Trump and they're not. Yeah, that to me is the fundamental issue that most of these folks in the media just can't get over.
Well, to carry forward that analogy a little bit, remember when Bill Maher said, why would you want to go see the cover band, the tribute band, when the real one's right down the street? And I liken it to, my analogy was, hey, the Rolling Stones are right down, 2 blocks away, but to my right 2 blocks are the Rambling Rocks. Well, why would I pay to see them when Mick Jagger's right down there doing his show, right? Trump is the real authentic deal. And in fact, people in Iowa also polled, said they wanted someone who was going to be a fighter they knew could fight. And in this time of tumult, in this time of wars breaking out, in this time of weaponized government against citizens in this country, simply for having different political beliefs, are you willing to risk it with candidates who are promising to do the exact same thing Trump would do, but we're going to do it a little differently, but I promise I can do it, I promise I can, as opposed to Trump, who says, I've done it, guys. Right. I've checked these boxes. You had energy dominance. You had low gas prices. You weren't paying as much for groceries and for rent and for car payments, right? You had a southern border that was sealed. 1.6 million people on the southern border in Trump's all 4 years in office. It was 3 million in 1 year under Joe Biden. People remember this. It wasn't, the Reagan years we have to point to for success. This is just a few years ago. So the jarring juxtaposition of where we were versus where we are now really gives Trump kind of the benefit of the doubt and allows his supporters to say, look, I like some of the other folks. I'm going to kick the tires. I'm going to test the waters, to mix metaphors there. But then I need to come back to where I know this guy's got a shot to win.
I agree with you. I mean, it was just, I'll get to the media in a second, but let's just focus on Trump. I think that one of the things that you touched on was, whether it's Santorum or Huckabee or Ted Cruz, they all really focused on their turnout operation. And that was one of the big things that I was telling people going to Iowa. It's different because you got to get people at 7 o'clock. You got to get them to stay. Trump, from all of my observations being out there, and having been there in 2016, was leap years ahead of where he was in 2016. They understood the difference. He's got a much more professional operation. DeSantis has that never back down, $10 million, tens of millions of dollars going in. And then Nikki Haley had the Americans for Prosperity Koch-backed group going in. The point that I'm trying to get at is that everybody actually had a solid ground game. I mean, there was nobody there except for Vivek that really didn't have a strong ground game. And I thought that kind of, there was no, when you looked at it from an analysis standpoint, you had to say, these guys all came out of spring training strong.
Yeah, they absolutely did. It's interesting because I think both Nikki and Ron are making claims now that are the only claims they can make. I don't think they're viable claims in that Nikki's saying it's a two-man race now.
Right. So let me get to that in a second. I want to just start though. If we can go down, like as somebody who handled the communications for winners and saw other campaigns try to make their case, let's do a quick analysis if we can. So let's start with Trump. What did you think of how he how he reacted to his win last night when he took the stage?
It's really good. He talked about the other candidates in kind of nice terms. He didn't go after them per se, didn't throw any elbows. He thanked a lot of people when he went off script. He was very contrite. He was very appreciative. Sometimes he goes off script and that's not the direction he decides to go in. And so I thought that was good. But he also talked about unification. And I think as Trump pulled out such a huge victory, going over 50% in this field with millions of dollars being spent against him and to suck up talent in Iowa, he is trying to portray himself as I'm the nominee now. Okay.
Yes.
I'm talking about Joe Biden. I don't even care about these other two. They're small potatoes. We have to focus on beating Joe Biden. Guys, we don't need to spend money fighting through the next several primary states. We need to get behind me so we can defeat Joe Biden. And I'm going to bring everyone together, Republicans, Democrats. He said that from the stage. I thought it was a really good tone he struck in talking about the death of his mother-in-law. He humanized himself quite a bit there, too. I thought it was a really good reaction from Trump yesterday.
Yeah, I'm going to take it a step further. I thought it was a great reaction for all the reasons that you mentioned. He mentioned all the right people. It was the first time in a long time he hadn't called Ron DeSantis a pejorative. He literally just said Ron and Nikki have run strong for second. Vivek came in well. I thought you're right. He thanked all the right people. I was watching because I was flipping around and I really desperately wanted to see how CNN reacted to it. They had to literally pull away.
Yes.
They were like, that's not a normal Trump speech. He's going to be hitting on his anti-immigrant. And it's like, no, it's not anti-immigrant. It's anti-illegal immigration. But CNN could not handle how well he was doing. And that to me was the key, that it was literally the tone, to your point, the humanization, hemming on the passing of his mother-in-law. I was just like, boom, 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 boom. He killed it last night. And you're absolutely right. The call for unification after such a historic win, right? 50%. Yeah. And that to me was the magic number. That killed all the naysayers. He didn't have to. He had to beat 41% and a 12.8% margin, but he blew away everyone. Even Jake Tapper had to say nice things. Well, relatively nice things.
Relatively. Yeah. They get so mad. I mean, again, I used to think Trump derangement syndrome was something we would say to just kind of needle the left. It's kind of a goofy Republican line. I think they're going to write medical journals about it one day. I really do think doctors are going to sit down. But
it's the only medical journals
take notes and put it out in the New England Journal of Medicine and be like, hey, this is a real issue facing some Americans out there. They had a real problem too, I think, did the left, with his success that they didn't really think was going to happen or didn't see coming. They thought he was so flawed and so many problems and indictments and impeachments and all the attacks on him and his businesses, his family and his co-workers, his staff, et cetera. But he came out better for it. And I heard somebody, because I was at several networks last night, and one of them said something like, he's just I hope he's okay. He seems so subdued. And I was like, well, first of all, I'm sure you're really concerned about his health. Second of all, if he was out firebranding, they'd be like, this guy's too crazy. He's always too high energy and all this. Then he comes out and kind of gives a stagnant speech and they're like, he's so low energy. What's wrong with him? It's just like he can't win with those folks. So it's a little frustrating.